What's going on, everyone? Daniel Rodriguez here. It's time to review Daredevil Season 2, Episode 6, titled Regrets Only. Spoiler review. Make sure you have seen the episode anyway. It should take me less than 2 minutes to recap the episode, give you the pros, cons, and final score. Thank you so much for joining me. Make sure you guys have seen my other reviews if you feel like it. They're all spoiler reviews, Episode 1 through 5. And of course, if you're watching this, Episode 5 through 8 should be out as well, man. Excuse me, a little bit out of breath. Just ran downstairs, came back up, man. So far, update, I'm totally on episode 9, so I have 5 more episodes left to complete season 2. Episode 8 is my favorite episode out of season 2 so far, I have to say. And season 2, man, great season so far. There hasn't been any okay episodes. It's either good or it's great, which is a really great thing, man. So Netflix and Marvel done it again, man. Luke Cage teaser's been revealed as well. It's like 20 seconds long, man. Luke Cage premieres September 30th, by the way, in case you did not know. So don't be surprised within the next 2 weeks if we hear that Daredevil's renewed for a season 3. It's going to most likely be renewed for a season 3, which is great, man. Punisher hopefully gets his own series, and so forth, man. So let's get right on to this. Regrets only. Daredevil and Elektra fight the Yakuza, of course, in Elektra's apartment. They attack, and beautiful shot where Daredevil's hanging from the top, and he goes to the back and he flips out and he ends up hitting the guy. And it reminded me of the Ben Affleck Daredevil where he's on top of the bar and the fan, and the guy's like, "Who's that?" And basically he's just hanging there, and then he like drops from the fan and like he hits a bunch of the guys. It reminded me of that sort of shot there. So anyway, they're at this diner and they're eating pie, and she's like, "You worked out. I appreciate that." And he's basically telling her that you need to leave. I don't want you here anymore. Leave already. And she says, it's like one more mission. They plan one more mission to do. Let's make this count. So then she could leave. But of course we know how Elektra plays. So she wants to steal this book or ledger, basically, that has some secrets in there. So they visit a friend, The team, Nelson and Murdoch, they visit Frank Castle in the hospital. He talks to Karen only. I don't believe Matt's there, actually. I believe Foggy and them they go, and he wants to talk to Karen. So anyway, Matt is with Elektra at this party and basically knocks out Stan in the restroom. See, when they mentioned Stan, I was like, Stan Lee cameo. They're going to go steal something from Stan at a party, like have Stan Lee there and like, him playing a character or something, but it totally went the opposite way. It was just some other guy. But this was an awesome shot, man. I literally was like, oh shit, like when it happened. See, Stan's in the restroom, this guy, and all of a sudden Matt comes out, and he's playing the blind, or he obviously is blind. He's just Matt Murdock. He's not Daredevil. In this scene, and he literally throws his stick at Stan in the face, like literally, and literally hits him in the head, and he just falls to the ground. I'm like, oh shit, that was epic, dude, right in the face, man. Ah! I literally hurt my nose. It hurt. Anyway, so the camera is on loop. Elektra put this thing on the camera to basically make it a loop. They find the book in the office, and they basically escape. There's a few fights going on here and there. They pretend that they're drunk and having sex, and these two guards come in, and they're like, hey, you need to leave and all that. I'm like, sorry, sir. And I believe, no, they didn't take him down. That's basically how they escaped. They ended up leaving. And basically, Frank pleaded not guilty. The People versus Frank Castle, American Crime Story, Season 2 on FX. How amazing would that be? No, let's not do that O.J. Simpson American Crime Story, The People versus Frank Castle. That is the trial of the century, my friends. That is the case of the century right there. No need for a Bronco. No need. That's what I want to see, Season 2. Frank Castle. That'd be amazing. So, anyway, that happens, man. They want Reyes. He wants Reyes to burn with him. He calls her a witch because he's in the hospital and the judge is there, and they're basically like, "Well, Mr. Frank Castle, what do you what are you, or are you guilty, you're not guilty? And basically they all, and Foggy told him, and Karen said, make sure you say, I'm guilty, Your Honor. And Frank basically said, I'm not guilty. And you witch, you're gonna burn alongside me. And like all this sort of like the music's getting high in tension and everything, and the room's shaking, and it's literally just so much commotion going on. She basically leaves, and he's just, you know how John Bernthal gets, man. He goes crazy on there. So the trial's going to start next week, and we find out that they are not the Yakuza, obviously, the people. So we thought it was the Yakuza the whole time. They're not Yakuza. They're part of a bigger organization. So what do I think about the episode overall, guys? First off, let me tell you the pros. John Bernthal, I've said this every single episode he appears in, man. John Bernthal as Frank Castle, a.k.a. the Punisher, is fantastic, dude. I love the way he acted in this episode. His talks with Karen, the chemistry there, the dialogue. You can tell Karen cares for Frank, and Frank sort of cares for... It's not like he was like he even apologized for shooting at her and everything, knowing that he wouldn't hurt her. Frank Castle's not the worst guy ever. He's not gonna he's not just gonna come up to me and shoot me if I haven't done anything wrong. If I'm just a good person, he ain't gonna just he'll say like move or something not to shoot me. But he won't shoot a random Joe like you. He's that kind of a guy. He only kills the bad people, almost as Dexter, where he kills bad people that deserve to be killed, or unless he gets caught or something, he's going to kill you. But that's because you tell him, it'd be a bad thing to do. But I digress. Anyway, of course, Punisher was awesome in here. The action, the choreography, man, Elektra and Daredevil fighting side by side was really awesome to see. Karen and Frank, their scenes were awesome. A lot of cool shots. Like I told you, I mentioned those two shots, man. The directing, the cinematography, the look is always beautiful. The opening with the motorcycles and the Yakuza going after in the elevator, and the guns and the effects and the practical effects, CGI effects, all looked really nice. Foggy, man, Foggy took a stand this episode as well. Foggy was really great in this episode. I really like him. Foggy's really been stepping it up this season, man. The dialogue, like I said, the opening of the episode with the fighting, the choreography as well, and it's intense the way Frank did his decision, because we were waiting on him to say something. Is he going to say not guilty? Is he going to say guilty? And then he was like, I'm not guilty. And just that whole 10-15 second pause literally got your heart pumping, holy crap, what's he going to say? What's he going to say? And then he said it. The only cons I really have to say about this episode, man, Elektra, at times, I'm just not feeling it, which I told you in episode 5. I'm going to be honest, I'm not feeling it. I like Elektra now. By episode 8, I kind of got more into Elektra. But for episode 5, 6, 7, I wasn't really that much into Elektra. I wasn't really feeling it with her. I'm not really feeling it in this episode with her as well, because they did take a long time. It was a slow pacing with the party. Let's be honest. It took them a whole episode just to get that artifact or whatever in that office. That took a long-ass time. It should only take 10 minutes at most, not a freaking 45 minutes to get that freaking thing from the office. So, you know how I kind of feel like we're just kind of dragged it out with the pacing and the party and them talking, which is all story and everything, but really, they just got the book. You know what I mean? It's just kind of guys, let's just go back to Karen and Frank talking instead of you guys at this party and talking and spilling wine on a guy. The pacing was a little bit there. That was kind of a little rough for me. Other than that, I'm going to give this episode a B+, man. I thought it was a really good episode, definitely. Stamped on there, B+, man. Not a bad episode, really entertaining. A little awesome action scenes in there, cool fight. Definitely him get a stick to the face was awesome. No Stanley cameo so far. I'm still on the lookout for you, Stan. Anyway, comment down below, tell me your favorite part about this Daredevil episode, and I'll be seeing you for the other reviews and other episodes and so forth, man. Until next time, bye-bye.